welcome back, preschoolers. It's Miss Trisha, and this is my son. What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel. Today we have a new story for you called The Mitten. Have we read this one before, Daniel?
Yes.
Yes. We read a lot of stories, huh?
Yep.
This one's called Adapted and Illustrated. I'm sorry, it's called The Mitten, but it was adapted and illustrated by Jan Brett. So she made the pictures and she helped make the story. Here's a picture of Jan on the back. That's what she looks like. Okay, let's read it. This is a great story as it starts snowing out there. It was snowing yesterday. Did you see the snow? You were home with Daddy. Did you see it? Yeah. Did you go out and play in it with Bella, our dog?
No.
No, he's looking out the window now. Okay, here's our story. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as the snow. Look, there he is.
Jumping around.
Yes, he's jumping.
This picture, you can't see the nature, and we have to see the nature.
He wants you to be able to see all the nature in the picture. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally, Baba made them. Let me scooch in so you can see. There's Nicky bringing her some yarn. I want the white mittens. And there's Baba doing her knitting.
Same, no.
After she finished, let me get this. This light is kind of glaring on the book for you, huh? Is that better?
Not really.
After she finished, she said, when you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens.
And there's one right there.
Shh. So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped into the snow and was left behind. Daniel's showing you. He's climbing that tree, and it just fell right there. Just like that.
It's for sure a little softer.
A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. Do you see him? You see that little mole sneaking into the mitten?
I can barely see him.
Just a little guy. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten and wiggled in feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over.
It's kickers.
Kickers. What do you use to kick?
Your feet.
So what do you think his kickers might be? His big
Feet.
feet. Rabbits have big feet to help them hop really high. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself up. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being one to argue with someone who is covered with prickles, they made room. I wouldn't want to argue with somebody who has pokey skin either, huh?
But I don't get it. Why did they make room when they would be poked by the hedgehog?
They were being kind, I suppose. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in.
Talons are feet.
You're right.
They say feet in a lot of different ways and weird.
The talons aren't the foot, so here's the foot. The talons are the sharp claws at the end of his foot.
But it's pretty much like a foot.
They didn't want to get in a fight with him, huh? What type of animal is this?
I don't know. Let's read it.
Let's read it. Up through the snow appeared a badger.
It's called a badger.
He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, but when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. What do you think that means? When they saw his diggers, what are diggers?
Fingers.
Yeah, badgers do have long, you can't really see it in the picture, but badgers have long nails they use for digging. When they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. What do you think they mean by the thumb?
They gave him some room because his fingers.
Yeah, I think they're going to let him climb right into the thumb of the mitten. Or maybe they gave him the thumb, like, okay, buddy, come on in. I'm not fighting with you. Oh, you can see his diggers up here, can't you? He's got big, strong claws, too.
That's the first thing I saw of his diggers.
Mm-hmm. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room.
This is big.
His muzzle. What's his muzzle?
We don't know.
Well, look at what part of his body is in the mitten. The top of him. A muzzle is like his snout. You know how sometimes if our dog Bella is trying to nose around and getting stuff she shouldn't, I grab her snout so that she can't, like, go at it?
Wait, kind of her mouth and the nose?
Yeah, kind of the mouth-nose area. It's the muzzle.
I would hate it if someone was pulling me from my nose.
Well, let's not pull things by their nose. Goodness. A great big bear lumbered by, and he spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be, but what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched, and it was pulled and bulged to many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than a little acorn, and she wriggled into the only open space left and made herself comfortable on top of the big bear's great nose.
I would never get on a bear's nose. It could eat me in one bite.
You might. You see that cute little mouse.
That's cute.
The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Knocked it right off like the computer just got knocked.
Kind of.
Choo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions.
Poor Emily.
Poor what?
Ammies.
Animals.
I like to call them Ammies, like a sort way.
On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the sky. Do you see it up there? Nicky's like, oh, my mitten!
Yep. It's right there.
Yes. Thanks, Danielle, for pointing it out. As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. She looked first to see that he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens.
See, it's right there.
Let's pull it in so you can see Baba. Do you see her in the window? There she is. Look, he brought his mittens in, and Baba was looking at him. What do you think she's thinking? Look at that face first.
See, like, why is one mitten so huge from the other?
Yeah, they are not the same size anymore, huh? Well, that was a fun story, huh?
Yes.
Daniel, tell me, out of all those animals that crawled in the mitten, which one was your favorite?
Let's see. Maybe the bunny or the owl.
The bunny or the owl?
I said both of them said it's hard for room when this one got in.
The badger.
And also the bear got in.
That bear was an awfully big guy, huh? Trying to squeeze
Both of
in
them
there.
said it was hard to fit in.
Mm-hmm. I think my favorite
How's the fox even
was,
fit in there?
I think my favorite was that little mouse that found a spot on the bear's nose. How sweet. Okay, make sure that you watch our next video because we've got some exciting things we're going to do with the mitten. We'll see you soon. Bye.